And we are back again. I don't know how long today's stream is gonna be. It might be a little on the shorter side because I'm hella tired. But we might just like get into the groove of things. The caffeine might hit my bloodstream and we might just keep going indefinitely until I die. Which is entirely plausible. So, we did, as usual, a little poll on the Discord on whether I should move on with rigging this guy first or texturing him. And I was surprised to see a overwhelming majority going for rigging. So we're here in Blender. We're going to be rigging this guy. And I haven't really thought that out too much because I was very certain that you guys were going to be voting in favor of texturing because that's just a lot more fun, right? That's just more interesting. But here we are, so I guess we're going to be rigging this guy. We'll make a custom armature for him, and then we'll just like rig up with some constraints, and then fix up weight paints and that kind of stuff. There's a lot of stuff to do. We might get into a little bit of animation toward the end here, but I'm not entirely sure if we will. Also, that's not what I want to do. Set origin. No, where is it? I always forget the fucking shortcut keys. I'm just gonna open ChatGPT to see what the shortcuts are. Blender shortcut reset 3D cursor. This is kind of what I use ChatGPT for about 80% of the time. Shift C. There we go. Okay. Since ChatGPT is a thing, I just don't remember half the shortcuts in existence anymore. I just ask ChatGPT, and that's just kind of it. Rigging is always the biggest pain in the butt. I don't know why it confuses the hell out of me. It is quite something. Once you get a little more used to it, it is a bit better. We're going to be doing it in Blender, which I'm less used to. So this is probably going to be a bit of a nightmare for me as well. Does the shrink wrap actually do anything? Yes, it does. Let's apply that. Okay, let's add that first bone. Then we're going to go in here somewhere. Viewport display. No, it's in this one, I think. Viewport display in front. So we always like render them in front. And then we just add a handful of bones. I don't think we need that many bones for this to be... Oh, we also actually need to model the puddle of like darkness around his base. Maybe we'll do that in a moment. We don't need to do that in like ZBrush and stuff. It's going to be a separate mesh that's going to be fairly low poly. I do sometimes put screenshots into ChatGPT. It manages to usually get them about right as far as like what I mean with them. Generally speaking, for Blueprint I don't, but it's just like as in whatever problem I'm running into, I usually include a screenshot, but it does take up a few more tokens, so I try to not do that too much. If I don't need to necessarily. Yeah, okay, so the spine is kind of fucked on this guy, right? I guess we... Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. What the hell? I guess this is gonna just like kind of work like this. Oh, no. I guess that's the way it's gonna be. Yeah, it's pretty good. And then we can have maybe like one disconnected bone. We can just pull this up and then disconnect it and move it forward a little bit. I don't know what's up with my stuff today. That said though, we'll also, I think, want to have some bones for the mouth. But I guess those can be disconnected to... Hold on, I just need to check real quick. Disconnected means they still move together. They're just not physically connected. So I guess we can just pull off of like... I don't know if this is going to count as a separate root, is the issue. Speaking of which, oh, that's fucked, because this is going to be a root bone. We probably want a separate root bone. Okay, let's actually start again. I always mess up the root bone thing. So yeah, we have this like separate root bone here. And that one we're going to be pulling off of. So this is definitely like going to be a pretty small one. And then we just like duplicate that over real quick. That's the idea anyway. Hello. Do I just have one? Why can't I select what's going wrong? Okay. No, really, what's... Okay. Oh, but they're not connected, so... Eventually we'll get there. Eventually we'll get there. What we need to do is we need to extrude this. I don't know what's going on with my mouse. It's a little weird. But we disconnect this one and then we just shrink this one the fuck down. Why is there like 4 bones now? Or 3 bones? Why can I not... Oh, because it's already disconnected. Okay. I don't know. Is snap... Oh, snapping is on. That's why. Okay. We're getting there. I promise you. We're gonna get there. I used a couple of times, was very helpful. Yeah, I do think that ChatGPT being able to read screenshots now is really, really nice. Send a screenshot of a side panel. I was thinking that I was having trouble with blueprint class settings and ChatGPT was less helpful. Yeah, it doesn't always fully understand. Is this thing tilted? Am I losing my mind? This feels tilted. Hold on. I don't think it is. Well, I'm just losing my mind. Okay, let's try this again. Because now we can... Oh, that's rotation. Now we can properly like extrude this up a couple of times. And then I do want to pull these back a little bit because just like the model is a little bit messed up, to be frank with you. We don't need that many bones for the spine, I don't think. So we can be pretty rough with this entire thing. And we extrude one out of this. We disconnect that and we like hook it up here. And then the thing is, I think what we want to do is we don't want to pull off of this because that'll technically make that a second root bone for Unreal Engine. So we're going to be pulling 2 bones off of this instead. If I remember correctly, it's been a while since I've done this. But we can just make this smaller. And then I think if we just duplicate this one, yeah, it'll also be... I always hate doing mouth stuff because it's always so tricky to like get the weights for them right as well. So that's why usually I don't do stuff with a mouth, but we kind of gotta. And then I think the arms we're gonna pull off here as well. Let's actually name these bones before I forget. So this is gonna be spine 1. This will be spine 2, spine 3, head, mouth top, and mouth bottom. And I don't think anything else on the head needs to be able to animate. There is an argument to be made to like give each of these things a little bone to themselves as well. Do we want to do that? I don't think we want to do that. And again, we could like have a little bit of physics going on for those, but then we'd need to like rig them up in Unreal again, and I don't want to do that because the whole thing here is yeah, we're not going to do that. That's an upside of doing this in Unreal, because if you're making a rig already anyway, it's easy to just set these things up to react to like to physics. But we're not doing that. So yeah. Let's see. Got to take off for work, check out the VOD. That's fine. Have a good day. Or at least not a bad one. That's the very least you can ask for, I suppose. Man, you know what's annoying is going back and forth between like 5 different 3D softwares, between like ZBrush and Blender and Unreal and Substance and all that stuff, right? Okay, that's 4 of them, admittedly. Going back and forth between all those, and they all have their own control schemes. It is like the actual worst. Most of them can use control schemes that are based on some of the other ones, though. So that's also like kind of my bad for not setting that up properly. Disconnect this one, and I always forget how many bones should be in a finger. I think it's 3, right? So finger bones. I'm definitely going to be put on a list at some point. The tips technically have bones of their own, I guess. Well, yeah, you can. I guess a finger has 4 bones, but one of them is inside of the hand. So, like, physically in your hand, a finger has 4 bones. But for, like, rigging bones, I think we only need to put in the 3 of them. Because you have, like, 3 segments that can bend. Which is 2 joints in total. Now, actually, you have 3 joints. But you don't need to have an entire ass bone for that. Because the first bone will function as one of the joints. Okay, yeah. So what we need to do is we need to select Blender first and foremost, and then we'll line this up in a moment. We'll do something like this. Yeah, now we need to line them up. Which is the annoying part. I'm also trying to be mindful of the rotation of all the bones, because that's usually where I go wrong, and then when I try to like rig stuff up, it all falls apart. But so far, we seem to be doing pretty good in that regard. So yeah, this is going to be, maybe we want to move you a little bit. So yeah, that's going to be one of the fingers, and now we just need to do that for all of them, except the thumb. The thumb has 1 bone less than the rest of the hand, I think. Right, yeah, the thumb has 1 less bone than the rest of the fingers. So we just give that 2 bones. I think. We'll see. So we just duplicate this over, and I'm just going to duplicate this over a handful of times, and then we'll put these things into their right positions afterwards. Because, of course, they're not even, like, slightly aligned. But I think for the most part, they can just be at about the same height across the board. It's going to be a little bit more fine-tuning needed in a moment, of course. Not that much, I don't think. For the most part, this is actually turning out fairly well. And then we can just mirror this to the other side as well in a second. So a handful of times. You know what? I didn't even mean to pun there, but I'm going to pretend like I did because it makes me feel smart. As bad as modeling hands is, which is like 1000% part of the reason that I am now a ZBrush fan, because it just has built-in hand models that I can slap onto my stuff. As bad as modeling hands can be, rigging them is actually like not that bad. Animating them is a lot of work, obviously, because there's a lot of stuff to animate. But if you have them properly rigged up, you can have pretty easy controls for controlling the hands. which makes animating them a little bit more bearable as well. But this is actually something that I quite like doing, because it's just setting up some like fairly easy bones for the most part. Now, the thumb, on the other hand, can go die in a hole, because it's on a very annoying angle from like a 3D perspective to see like where it actually is. But that seems like a pretty good thing. There we go, going there. Except it's not. You see, and here we start looking into how did we just accidentally rotate this thing, because we definitely did. And we need this to be at least, I think this is facing the right way. These faces of these bones should be differently colored depending on like their upward and the side direction. Because in some cases that actually is relevant. And you can just like constrain in offsets for all that, of course, but it would be nice to like just not have to do that. Surely there's a plugin for that for Blender. Because these things just, they have rotation, right? Which means that you can just label these as, for instance, like these being green and then these being red, so that you have some visual orientation of what is up and what is left and right. That's like definitely a thing you could do. Matter of fact, if that doesn't exist yet, I might look into how to make that. Because that doesn't seem like it should be that difficult to do. Unless it's very fundamental to Blender's like own code. Yeah, so that's the hand. Let's name all these bones and then just mirror this shit. So this is arm.l. You might say, hey, well, it's the right one, but from his perspective, it's left, so it's left. Arm left 001. No. Select that one, thank you. Arm left 2. Oh, actually, ooh, I don't know that. This is gonna be fun. We definitely should have one for the hand as well. I forgot about that. Can we just reparent all these to... I guess we're about to find out. Yeah, so we definitely should have one for the hand as well, right? So this should be hand.l.001. And all of these, I guess we just like unparent these. No, we clear parent, and then we select this one. And then we keep offsets, and now we have reparented them. There we go. Can be as easy as that, locally. I was a little afraid that that was going to be an issue there. But yeah, then we go into naming the fingers, which this is a little tedious, but this will be Pinky 001. Well, actually, Pinky.L. Do the L and the R have to be the very end? Can they be in the middle? I hope they can be in the middle. 001. 002, because it makes doing this a little easier. 003, otherwise we'll have to do a script for that. So that would be the ring finger.L.001. 002. Why do I do 00? Just because force of habit. There's no good reason to do it when you don't have up to 100 bones. Or I guess when you don't have up to at least 99. So this will be middle.L.001. Again, could just be one, but force of habit. I label everything to support 3 digits. This is not even like a Blender based thing. This is index. This is just how I name my files as well. Because I rarely have more than like 999 like of a list of files that would share the same name. But sometimes I do have up to 100. It's also very rare though, to be fair. Okay, so now everything is named. And then I think what I can do is I can just select all and I can say symmetrize, and boom, we also have the things on the right, and the names will be replaced. Everything with an L will be an R. Fucking love that. So that is effectively the skeleton in place now. So this is gonna be a thing, because what we have to do now is we have to parent this. And this is gonna probably fuck up. Or maybe it won't. We'll see. Oh, hold on. No, I already made a mistake. I already fucked up. Because the root bone should be not a deformed bone. I'll set it back to being a deformed bone in a second. But for parenting purposes, I'm making it not a deformed bone so that it doesn't affect the automatic weights. When we export it, it does need to be a deformed bone because we're only going to be exporting the deformed bones. And we do need to export the root bone. I'm still doing animations in Unreal Engine. I'm going to be doing animations for this guy in Blender as a sort of experiment because usually I feel like rigging is easier to do in Blender than it is in Unreal. And if I don't need a rig in Unreal to do any like real-time stuff, it's probably easier to just do that stuff in Blender. But it's also kind of an experiment, if I'm being honest. To see if we run into any issues. Because if we do, especially with Blender's more modular rigging system now, I can just make a default arm and slap that on. And then I don't ever have to rig an arm again. I can just say, hey, this is an arm. Have a good day. Yeah, so I don't really have a strong preference quite yet. So this should move everything. Yeah, that makes sense. This, that's actually like not too bad. Maybe it's a little aggressive on the downward area there, but for the most part, I think that actually like pinches down fairly well, which is due to the fact that it has like pretty good geometry as well, which is why it stretches out so well. Same for this. This actually stretches. Like, look at how it doesn't clip through itself, even though it is in the most fucking insane position ever at the moment. The good geometry is really helping out there. Which will help me do stupid animations like this if I need to. But so far, that's pretty good. Let's actually reset these bones, otherwise I'm going to disorient myself or deorient myself fairly badly. The head as a whole is also pretty good, I would say. I could probably have done with a neck bone specifically as well, now that I think about it, but I also like, maybe I don't need that. I can do a neck control, right? Just make this thing rotate around the control. Because just rotating this thing like this is kind of fucked. I also needed to like move in 3D space as it rotates, but we can make up for that with the control constraint, I think. So that's probably fine. Okay, this is where it's going to fall apart. Because there's no way that it parented, yeah, any of this even remotely correctly. So we're going to need to do that all manually. Yeah, so this is way too aggressive going up into the eye sockets. And this is not aggressive enough because it didn't grab any of the teeth. So yeah, we'll have to look into solving that. This might go in a little too much into the torso with its rotation. There. Does it really like affect the Y rotation as well? A little, but not too much, to be honest with you. This I figured would be pretty good, and it actually is. And once again, see how like there is a little bit of pinching here, but it doesn't really like very much clip through through itself because the geometry is pretty good. I haven't touched modeling software in 15 years. I'm interested to see how it goes when I start modeling characters from a multiplayer game. I mean, it'll be interesting. I'm not much of a character creator, so I don't really have... Yeah, it does really give life to your model, right? Because you can suddenly like bend them into all sorts of fun shapes. Like you can suddenly make him like do the fucking this, which suddenly like makes him some kind of like weird contortionist or whatever. But yeah, so this arm also does pretty good. It's a little stretchy, but I think I can live with it. And then this will mostly like move in... Well, actually, that's probably better to put this in local. So yeah, so I'll probably mostly move like this. And I think this could do with having a little more weight toward this area here as well, because this definitely is pinching a bit too much. Realistically, the way you could also solve that is by adding a blend shape into this as well. So just like blend it out a little bit, like sculpt it away. That's not what I want to do. That's not what I want to do. What? There we go. And it bending downward, it also creates a bit of pinching, but it's never going to bend like 90 degrees like that, right? And even like bending it upwards, I don't think it's going to bend up this far, but we'll probably touch this up a little bit. Now, much like the mouth, I expect this to, yeah, so this definitely goes way too far into there. And too far into there. Just generally like this should stop around here. But this is pretty good. Now, these fingers are likely also going to have parented themselves to bones that they shouldn't. Actually, so far, not really. This one as well, going a little too far back, which is also just part of where I put the bone, to be honest. But this is actually like, those joints are doing pretty well. I think the fingers actually end up being effectively just like the way I want them to be. Again, a little too far back into the hand on like the most parent bone. Like that one definitely should not be moving there. But most of this is pretty like minimal cleanup needed. The automatic weights actually did a fantastic job on this entire dude. And I'm just assuming that the other side effectively like has the same thing going for it. So if I just like select all of these and I we individual origins, we do this, right? That works pretty well. Like, especially when you have all of these fingers that like move together like this. This really like feels alive at this point. Again, there's a bit too much. Oh my god, there's a bit too much happening here. But that's something that we can take care of. So let's do that. And since we have all our bones properly labeled, why do we have scar displacement? What the fuck does that even mean? Oh, that's the thing. Yeah, we don't use that anymore. We can just get rid of that. So let me grab my tablet real quick and hook it up, because we are going to need to do a little bit of painting, but not too much. So this will actually be relatively quick, and then we can start setting up constraints and stuff, which will be fun. Where the fuck is my USB? No, it's not USB. No, seriously. Oh, there we go. USB port. There we go. So how's everybody doing with like life, their own projects, and whatever? Because as you can see, so far, things are going relatively well for my progress. I also did a little bit more work on the inventory system after the last stream, like yesterday, like last night. I changed up some of the stuff. I talked about this in the Discord, but last time when we clear transform, there we go. Last time when we ended with the stream, we had a working inventory like saving system between levels, but it would save and load it from and to disk every time I changed level. And I was like, yeah, actually maybe we shouldn't do that. Partly because of speed, partly because of optimization, partly because I just felt like I wanted to do it the right quote-unquote way. So now it only saves and loads to disk when we actually save and load games. Aside from that, it keeps the save object with all the like updated data. It keeps it in memory, which means that you can just update it in memory and then only like write it to disk when you actually save the game, which is just a little bit better. So that's kind of nice. Okay, everything is now reset, which means that we're going to be able to go into weight paint mode, right? Weight paint, there we go. Got distracted by a side project again. My dude, welcome to my life. That just kind of what happens. A couple of my buddies decided that they want to get together to make a simple game. It's never simple though, is it? It never is. So I volunteered character modeling. I got through a simple character or a full character. Then they lost interest in the project. Oh, that's even worse. Yeah, okay, so the spine is actually like pretty good for the most part, right? We decided, I think. So then the head. I guess that makes sense, actually. I was going to say the head maybe would need to implement all of this, and I think it still is better if it does, maybe. But let's take a look at the bottom mouth first. Because I think, actually, I'm going to... Hold on. Armature, we're going to make that disappear. I think, for the most part, the weights that happen on the actual jawline here are like pretty decent. I don't think we need to add too much to all that. The only issue that I see is an issue that we can just fix in edit mode, because these all need to have full weights to the bottom mouth piece thing. So we can just like assign these to the bottom mouth, and then oh, that was the top mouth. So we remove this from the top mouth, and then we assigned what? Oh, we assigned them to the bottom mouth, and then we remove them entirely from the top mouth, and I think that fixes the entire issue regarding all that. I think it's really as easy as that. Okay, so the bottom mouth definitely needs to not affect the top of the mouth either, but if we ignore that it does that, at least the teeth move properly with it now. So yeah, we just need to remove a little bit of weight from the like top jaw there. And maybe it should just generally like taper off around here instead of going all the way up there. Matter of fact, maybe it is nice if we'll just like open this up a little bit. Sometimes that can be nice, sometimes it can be kind of distracting to do that, so we'll see what we think of it in this situation. Good news is now I don't feel bad about going back to my own game. That is, I guess, a healthy way to look at it. I'd be a little annoyed, but all the more to you that you can deal with a little bit like less annoyed than that. Then again, it's also very easy to say yes to helping in projects and then kind of regretting it, and I'm being happy that they don't actually like end up going through. So like if that's what's happening, I feel you. Because Lord knows that that's happened to me before. So I definitely want this to be fully weight painted, and then I guess I kind of want to get rid of some of this on the inside. Also, probably want the strength to just be a little lower so that I can get out of the way with your bones. So I can do a little bit more of that. Yeah, so I think that's a bit better. And then maybe we can do a little... like, not even that much to be... Oh, brush strength isn't on. That makes... What? That's definitely supposed to now have, like, brush strength on, but it doesn't seem like it does, right? Oh, no, it definitely does. Never mind. Can we set the brush to only do connected faces or something like that? I don't know. We can just kind of get rid of it like this, I suppose. Yeah, that all seems about right. Like maybe a little more in here and then a little less up there. And moving on to the mouth top. Maybe like add a little bit more weight to all this. And that definitely like this should all have some more weight as well. And this should have a little less weight actually. Because down here it shouldn't. No, don't take the tooth with you. The amount of like weird sentences that probably has never been said before that I just utter on stream because my brain is just turned off and it just says stuff, right? I very much doubt that the sentence, no, don't take the tooth with you, has been said a lot in human history. Although, no, I am curious what the contexts were where it has been said before. Because that seems like a whole thing. Like, what fucking weird-ass stuff happened to make that sentence make sense in a situation? Because I kind of want to be there for it. Okay, so what we're going to do actually is we're going to make this thing invisible. And we're going to make this thing... I don't know if this will also hide it. Yes, it will. Okay, good. Because I need these to not deform. Keep your hands off my eye sockets. Which is another sentence that probably has never been said before. I mean, if they deform a little bit, that's probably like not actually the worst thing in the world. Just doesn't need... just needs to like not change visibly. They change a little bit behind the eyeballs, that's honestly fine. It's one of those things where if it's good enough, it's good enough. It doesn't need to be perfect. I've got other shit to do in my life. That being said, buying this like little drawing tablet, I just have a like €50 drawing tablet. It's a very cheap one. It's probably still been one of the best freaking investments I've ever made into like the game dev thing. Of course, the like recent GPU upgrade I did. Like I honestly don't even know. Like if you put the amount of money it costs into compared to the value that it brings me, I think this like €50 tablet still probably like beats out that ratio, to be honest with you. Okay, let's see. We might have overdone it a little bit with the... that's maybe a bit too much. We might have overdone it a little bit with pulling it back. So let's add like a little bit more weight to like this area. I probably should have done that symmetrically, actually. That's not ideal. Well, this is probably fine. What the hell happened there? I'm not sure how this weight thing works, but if you remove the weight from the teeth and give them some kind of physics, would they have floppy teeth? So for the teeth to have physics, or anything to have physics, they would need to have a bone of their own with their own weights. Because the weight is just how much a given vertex. So like every single one of these vertexes is what has been given the weight, and this like red to blue gradient is just a visualization of that. But on the lower poly model, it'll always like each one of these points can be given a weight. It's not like there's not like infinite places to place weight on. And it's just you map those weights to each bone. So in this case, we're working on the bone that is the top of the mouth. So everything that is pure red will be moving 100% parented to that bone. Everything that is pure blue will be not moving at all. So in order for any like physics stuff to happen, you still need to weight paint them to those bones and then just apply physics to those bones. So that's kind of like the main idea behind weight painting. Is just applying, I think this is actually still a bit much. It's just applying the weights on how much they like follow around a specific bone. I don't know, man. Let's see what this does. let's just give it a shot. Because this will probably be better, but the question is it good enough? I'm also like not very good at it, but like that's not horrendous. It's not great. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh no, that's bad. Then again, maybe what this needs is it's also got like so here you can see there's a couple of vertices in each of these teeth that haven't been properly painted to this piece of the mouth. Or they are painted to this piece of the mouth, actually. Yeah, so the bottom bone has a couple of verts of the top here parented to it, which makes it fuck up like real bad. Yeah, so there needs to be much more of a gradient in this area, because otherwise this stuff happens, right? And the wonderful thing is we can just keep this pose and go back into weight paint mode and then just fix all that up. But before we do any of that, actually, we're going to go into edit mode, which will snap it back to its original position, because now we're editing the vertexes or vertices directly. And I'm going to select all these teeth up at the top, and I'm just going to remove them from the bottom mouth. That's just going to set all of them to 0, and I'm going to assign them all to the top so that they're all exactly 100% at the top. So that fixes part of the issue, but that doesn't fix whatever the fuck is happening there. So there we go back into weight paint mode for the top of the mouth, and I guess that just means that I don't know what that means. How do we fix that? My wife uses her iPad and Apple Pen for art. I wonder if that would work for this. It probably would, yeah. I don't know how well Blender runs on iOS. That I don't know. But if Blender has like an iOS version and it runs properly on that and it doesn't like explode with like high resolution stuff, it probably would run fairly well. Yeah, so if you have, I think Davy Jones is a pretty good example Each one of its tentacles would have its like own set of bones in order to like twist and turn around. I'm thinking if I have like I made a model at some point. I don't have it on disk anymore. I don't think. Of something that also had some tentacles. It would be kind of nice to show. Do I have anything else like ready at hand that makes sense to show that shows that? I don't think I do. But yes, if you want to animate something, you're gonna like just parent it to a bone and move that bone around. And the reason for that is that's just how most software expects things to animate and to run. Hello, back to you. So maybe what I need to do is I need to like remove some. Yeah, I think I just still had it go up too far. To some extent, right? So if we just... This is not going to fix it, mind you, but it's going to make it less horrific. And when we get to rigging this thing like up properly... Oh, shift just blurs it out. That's actually really nice to know. I didn't know that. When we get to rigging this dude up like proper, we'll just make the control for the top there. Also move it out a little bit, maybe. Like we'll just parent it to a thing. So that's the next step of the process, right? Is we are parenting these points to bones, and then we're going to create specific objects. And then we're going to parent those bones to those objects, and those objects are the thing that we're going to be moving around. Because we can set up like much more complex constraints than just parenting. Like inverse kinematic stuff. For like the arms and such. But in this case, probably also for the body, to be honest. But usually arms and legs. And tentacles. Oftentimes tentacles will also be IK'd. Because we were just talking about Davy Jones. Yeah, okay, so that's already a bunch better, I would say. Don't do that. It's still not fantastic, obviously. But if we just take this bone now and we like move it in its local Y a little, and then its local X. Its local X is what I said. A little like this. I think that'll do the trick. So what we need to do is like whenever we rotate this thing around, we also need to move it either back or forward. This unintentionally kind of gives him a more cat-like look as well. Nice. There's also something weird going on with that tooth over there. What's up with that? Because that tooth doesn't line up properly. Is that because the... Yeah, it's because the little like jaw bit of it I don't think is parented properly. So this needs to be strength fully at 1. But even then, it doesn't fully like make it all the way. It's probably parented to a different bit, I imagine. Let's go back to 0.1, just to ever so slightly. Oh, it might be... No, it's just not properly aligned. Okay. In that case, let's just cycle through real quick and see if there's any... Is it part of the head? It's not even part of the head. Oh, there's nothing else that's taking it. I don't think. Yeah, it's only that one thing. So it's probably just not properly lined up. Like, if we go into edit mode, is it properly lined up there? Yeah, it is. That's kind of weird. I'll probably animate this in Blender, is what I'm thinking right now, but I'm also, like, honestly not 100% sure yet. But the plan for now is to do it entirely in Blender. So yeah, why does that tooth does that weird thing? And where does my grammar go? Like, this tooth does something a little weird, doesn't it? Like when I... Okay, so this moves down more than the, like, flesh above it, right? Because the distance is really big now, and as I move it, like, if we just clear transform real quick, it is properly inside, and then as I move it up, it moves up inside more. So this just moves more with the jaw than the area around it. So let's take a look at it in, like, its default pose. This all does seem very red, doesn't it? Maybe this area is not quite red enough. I don't know. Let's just make sure that everything is properly painted red here. There's also some areas here that I think are still parented to the bottom of the mouth, which might be part of the issue. Probably should just go into edit mode and make, like, all this entirely unselect, just in case. But this will work as well, I think. Oh, that might have been the issue, is the fact that this is getting pulled along with the bottom of the mouth a bit too much. I think, yeah, that's probably what's happening. Yeah, there we go. So if we go back into... And this is just a mouth. We also still need to do some stuff about the fingers, but that'll probably be easier because you don't have those two things that influence each other so much, and this definitely does need to, like, fully be painted in like that. So, like, once these teeth are done, that's probably the most annoying bit done. Is what I'm hoping. That's not the thing I wanted to select. I think this will be fine. So just assign these. Object mode. I would hazard to... Oh, no. Oh, no. Back into edit mode, pretty please. Unselect all of these again from something, reparented those to the bottom jaw. And we don't want that to be the case. So bottom, remove, object mode. I think that's probably good enough. I hate rigging. Yeah, you and me both. Well, rigging itself isn't that bad. It's mostly like this portion where you're going over all these weights that I personally hate. But for now, I think this is, like, if we can just zoom in a little bit here and just kind of blur this out a tiny, teeny bit. Really nice that I figured out that you can blur this stuff. I think this will do. So now, next up, we have the top of the mouth, which I'm just gonna leave as is. This arm. Yeah, this arm goes a little too far into the torso for my liking. So what we're just gonna do is we're just gonna kind of, like, go through like this. And this should be relatively easy cleanup, I think. It's nice if the cleanup has, like, a very soft brush though, so that we still remain with some sort of gradient on the shoulder. I think that's literally all there is to, like, doing the shoulder update. Maybe we were a little over aggressive there. We'll see in a moment, I suppose. Yeah, it's one of those things where I think the bone should just start a little earlier in the shoulder, but we can do that technically, right? Like that is, nothing is stopping us from doing that, aside from losing the symmetry, but fuck that. Yeah, that was mostly the issue there. And again, this is him going his arm 90 degrees backwards. That's a thing that's never like actually gonna happen much. So that's probably like pretty decent. We are going to go over and just weight paint this a little down still. Mostly because I don't want the scar, like that little decomposing bit of flesh, to move around too much. A little bit is fine, but not too much. I think that's cool. Yeah, and then we have this part of the arm was fine. Then I think we set the hand. We wanted to have a little bit more going into the arm, right? I think that's what we said on both. What the hell? On both sides, maybe. Maybe not that much. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just kind of making it up as I go. So, and I think maybe we just also need the hand itself to extend a little further like this. That'll maybe also fix up the finger issue slightly. Because it'll always be weighted to the hand bone as well as those finger bones. Meaning that the fingers won't be as weirdly deformed. So maybe that'll actually save us from having to redo the fingers as much. We'll probably still need to. Yeah, because the finger reaches all the way the fuck back there. We don't want that. Post mode. Not post mode. Come on. Deselect. Hello? Oh, because we're still in post mode. Did you plan your topology? Hell no, I used Z remesher. I didn't plan shit. Of course, if you're doing manual retopology, you should, but last time I tried out Z remesher and I was pleasantly surprised with how not shit it was. And I figure, you know, I can spend like 5 to 10 hours manually retopologizing this. Which would be more optimal without a shadow of a doubt. Both in terms of like actual workflow and in poly count. But that was like Z Remesher did such a good enough job that I'm probably going to be fine. Especially since Unreal is like updating Nanite to support skeletal meshes soon as well. So like the poly count thing is less of an issue. So at that point, it's only like animation deformation that would maybe be somewhat improved if I did manual retopology. And I'm not going to like spend anywhere from 5 to 10 hours to just get a slightly better result from that. Because you also have to keep in mind, if I have to do manual retopology, the topology itself is also going to not necessarily be that much better, because I'm not that good at it. So, like all in all, I think what we have now is probably the best mix between time spent and quality gained. Which means that some of the loops are like entirely fucked, right? Like this looks pretty good until you look up close, and like one of the loops in here. Oh, there it is. Like it looks pretty good until you realize that like these loops kind of do go all over the place. They should definitely just like loop around instead of doing this. A lot of the loops are pretty good. but a lot of them also are not. But by and large, the geometry does what it needs to do. And it's good enough, like spaced quads, to have pretty good deformation and such. Not perfect, but good enough. And that's kind of the thing if you're like making an entire ass game all on your own, right? Good enough is where you need to like allow yourself to stop, because otherwise you're never going to finish anything. Yeah, you see how much better these fingers deform now? That they don't take the entire hand with them anymore, like this. Yeah, that's so much better. Okay, that's one half of the arm done. Let's clear transform on everything. And then we'll do the other side of the arm. And then we actually just have our weights entirely done, which means that we can get to setting up the control things. You'll note that I didn't give the eyes bones as well, by the way, because I'm not going to animate the eyes. Because the eyes aren't going to have like detail on them. The eyes are going to just be like a glowing material. Matter of fact, I might even make the eyes ever so slightly smaller than they are right now. I don't know yet. I kind of like the idea of like having tiny eyes in like these empty eye sockets. Is it possible to mirror weights? I don't think so. Because it would need to be aware of which vertex group belongs to which. It might be actually. Can I mirror weights in Blender? I painted the whole left side of the body properly. Now the right side needs matching weights. ChatGPT, tell me. Select the subject, object mode, weight paint mode. Ensure proper name and groups. Mirror the weights. Select weights, mirror. Okay, so maybe we can do this. That would save me a lot. Thanks for asking that question, because I was under the impression that you cannot. But maybe we can. It's worth a check at least. So select weights. Oh, need to be in weight paint mode. That makes sense. So weights, mirror. Okay, so 0 vertices mirrored. That's not a good sign. This will mirror the weight from one side to the other if the vertex group follow proper naming convention. The automatic mirror will left side .l, right side .r. That might be to do with the fact that they don't have. It's Control X. Okay. Nope. Oh, that's set weight. I'm an idiot. Oh, mirror just doesn't have a shortcut. Yeah, it doesn't seem like that's working properly. I can try to see what happens when I... No, I can't actually. Okay. I think it might be possible if it ends in .l instead of having .l. No, but because Symmetrize did work properly as well. So that surely can't be the case. Let's try to mirror with another thing selected. Yeah, it's failing the mirroring for some reason. Make sure your mesh is symmetrically modeled for the best result. It is. You can also use weight transfer to copy weight from one mesh into another. That's not what I want to do. It's failing despite everything being... Oh, it might not be entirely symmetrical actually because of what I did here with the shoulders. That might be why. Yeah, so we might have to manually do that after all. Symmetry in the mesh, that much there is. Proper naming conventions, that there is as well. Enable symmetry options in weight painting. Issue symmetry options may not be enabled, causing the mirror to, when going to weight, go to the sidebar. Under the N key, yeah, okay. To the tool tab and in options. X mirror under symmetry. Yeah, that's just not there, man. Oh, symmetry. Mirror X. Okay. Let's close the log again. Did it already move them over? I don't think it did, right? I don't think it did. Now my only worry is that it's going to copy the right side to the left side instead of the other way around. Wait, did it already copy them over? Without me having to explicitly mirror? That would be weird. But it seems like it might have. I think it did. Well, it is actually easier to check in with this. I might just be losing my mind. But like arm, no, that definitely has different weights than the left one, right? So if I go to, yeah, that definitely has different weights. Okay, so let's try again. In that case, it's still failing. So use topology-based mirroring for when both sides of the mesh have matching unique topology. Matching unique topology. What? I'm gonna fucking try it, but I don't think it's gonna work. You can invert weights as well. It does do that. Yes, I don't think we're gonna get that done. Does minus x to positive x anyway. It says, so I would do it the other way around. Try weight transfer. Maybe that'll help actually still. Select your mesh and weight mode. On the weight menu, select weight transfer. In transfer weights, make sure you transfer weight from one side of the mesh to the other. Okay, let's try that. Like transfer weights. Okay, then what? More about transferring, please. The funny thing is, we probably would have been done if I just did it already. Let's transfer metadata. I'm not entirely sure how this works. Yeah, we're just gonna do this manually. because frankly, just because I don't know what's going wrong and I don't feel like looking into it too much. Which means that the weights won't be entirely symmetrical, but who cares? Well, maybe I will care in like a few hours' time, but for now, I don't. I'm just going to call that good enough. I'm not even going to check it because I'm just that confident in my own work. I didn't even check the wrist on the other one as well, I realize now. Oops. That might be a little too floppy. We're about an hour in and we have effectively finished the weight paint job on this dude, so that's pretty decent. But it leaves us enough time to set up some constraints and stuff as well, which is what I was hoping to get done today. So we're effectively just like on schedule, which is sweet, because I'm never on schedule. Well, not never. Scheduling is a thing. That often goes wrong. Anyway, yeah, so we just need to take off some of this, all this, and all that. There we go. Upside to weight painting is that you can do a fantastic job of it and make like a super precise, super amazing paint job. But in the spirit of you only need good enough, even when you suck, after a little bit of practice, you can probably get a weight paint job done that's fairly quickly good enough. A drawing tablet does help a lot because pressure sensitivity. That's like anything to do with like painting on a 3D model or just painting in general on a like a computer, I guess. Having that pressure sensitivity is really nice. And it's just more intuitive than doing it with a mouse, at least for me. So that does also help. Like if I can get good enough at it to make it acceptable, so can you. Because I really am not good at this. And I will also be looking into mirroring the weights and how that works sometime in the future. Because that seems like it's going to save me quite a bit of headache going forward. Okay. I'm going to call that good enough. Let's just double check to be sure. Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, I'm actually thinking that this one maybe I went a little overboard. Maybe we can give it a little bit more gradient on this one. Especially like up that area. And then a little bit extra there. Yeah, I think that might be slightly better. And anything that looks weird and jagged right now, there's going to be a texture wrapped on top of this as well, right? So that's going to hide some of that imperfection as well. Is what I like to tell myself, because that helps me sleep at night. Oh my... No! Oh no! Oh no, 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 no. What is happening? Oh, because it's moving. Oh. Oh. Yeah, that's not good, is it? Yeah, so for anybody wondering what's happening here, is those vertices that exist in this area here are mapped to both this and their individual fingers. But when this thing moves, the finger moves as well. So those vertices get moved by both of them, which means that they get moved twice the distance, which disconnects shit. I think that's what's happening. Maybe. So I think the issue is in this. Like if we just... Right? No? Does it need to... Is the issue that it's not entirely painted? Does it need to be? Might just need more painting, actually. Let's just do this with... No, it definitely needs less painting, I think. Actually, what is the issue? Because none of this is making sense. Hold on, something is fucky. Something is kind of fucked. The left thumb... Why does the... Oh! Oh, it did mirror the left thumb! But it mirrored it to the other side of the... So it probably mirrored the left hand as well then, right? Well, no, left. Okay, so what we're going to do for that... So we're just going to select everything on this side of the body. And we're just going to remove... Oh, hold on. Remove... I think this will be the easiest and quickest way to deal with this. God damn it. I needed to do it like this. Let's do it again. Remove. We're gonna remove so fucking much. It's gonna be amazing. Okay, and that then gets back to the right arm. So, okay, that was maybe not the issue after all then, because it's still fucked. Why is it still fucked? Where did I go wrong? Better question. Does it do that on the other side as well? Yeah, no, this is just I think something went wrong with the mirroring. I think that's where we fucked up. So something has mapped some of the vertices from this side to that side, and the other way around as well. We'll look into that in a moment. But something is like all sorts of fucked. So what we'll just do is we'll go back to edit mode again. We'll make sure that this is in like see-through mode, and we'll just the entire left side here. I don't think it really matters all that way down. We're going to select. I'm just going to go into weight paint mode and see when these things light up. Okay, it's the left out, it's the left hand. That actually makes sense. So if I remove all this from the left hand. Okay, that seems pretty decent now. There still is some fucked up stuff, don't get me wrong, but that's probably from the left arm, yeah. So we remove. That seems pretty good now. And then I assume if we go into edit mode and we just invert this real quick, I assume that this left arm stuff is due to the right arm, right? No, not even. And what is it because? Is it because of some other left-hand stuff? Because of some spine stuff? Is it just because it got unparented? What? Why would it do that? Okay, we're definitely going to want to go back into like default pose for this. Remember when I said we were on schedule? Yeah, that was a good time, wasn't it? Okay. We can just paint this all back in. That's fine. See? Takes a little bit, but not that much. Definitely also remove... maybe we need this to just be a tiny bit stronger for the like rough edges. And we'll refine this in a moment, but first we need to make sure that everything that needs to have weights, like has full weights. And then we'll bring this back down and start like cleaning this up a bit again. Okay. See-through mode off because it freaks me the fuck out. I guess we just get everything and I mean, that's one way to test it, right? Just change every bone in the universe. There's still something going kind of weird with this arm. And I don't know what it is. Because at this point... the only thing that it can be is that it is somehow... is it parented... did it parent to like one of these? Surely not. No, I don't think it did. It must be parented to like the left side of the body somehow. Yep. But luckily for that, we still have this selected in edit mode, so we can just fucking remove that shit. Okay, I don't think we have the ideal setup here, but I do think that we don't have any glitchiness anymore. Yeah, I think all the glitchiness is gone. As far as I can see, anyway. Okay. Oh, man. So. That's a thing we can do. That's a thing that we're actually going to do at some point, because this thing needs to be able to, like, go down below the surface, but when he's down below the surface, we're also going to shrink him the fuck down. Just because otherwise he's going to clip through stuff and or whatever. But for now, I think what we want to do, actually, before we start rigging this guy up, is we're going to just add real quick a cube. I said we're going to add a cube. And that cube is just going to be like kind of shaped like this. And then we're going to like subdivide this like 3 times. Apply that. Maybe have it a little less thin. And we subdivide this about like 3 times. I feel that's a bit better. And if we apply that, now we just simply go into sculpting mode real quick and we just pull this thing around a bit. We'll have our pool of shadow. Is the idea. And we can inflate this a bit too. What is the geometry looking like at the moment? It's probably fine. I don't know. Maybe we can do with just a tiny bit more of like this kind of dealio. Which again, it does need to be somewhat flat, but not entirely. We have a flatten brush, don't we? Yeah, we do. So we can just like flatten out the bottom. That does not flatten out the bottom at all. I think that does though. Yeah, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna like divide this 2 more times. It's a fairly fine mesh, but that's also about the density of the guy himself, right? So that's probably fine, but that does allow me to snake hook out some more detail here. And what we'll probably do is we'll probably hook this up at some point, do some blend shapes and like dynamically make this like wiggle about a bit. So we'll sculpt a couple of different like blend shapes for this dude. And I'll just like kind of ripple around him. But I do think that like this should just flatten it, right? Without flattening the top. It also flattens the top. I just wanted to flatten the bottom. Is there a way to like... I guess that's what scrape does, actually. Kinda, not really. Bottom doesn't need to be exactly flat, though. Probably fine. Oh, we didn't even use snake hook there. It was entirely elastic deform, which actually does work better, to be fair. For these areas, I think snake hook will do a bit better, though. Yeah, that's kind of it. Cool. That'll do for now. So yeah, that doesn't necessarily like need to be, well, that does actually need to be parented to this other thing. Hold on. So what we do is we also parent this to that with, let's just do with empty groups, and then we can go into this and just set spine 1, and then we just assign that entire thing to spine 1. No, that's actually not spine 1 even. Just the root bone. So this can now still move independently, but it does move with the root bone. So it is technically part of the armature. Okay. That is the thing that we needed real quick. Which again will probably like procedurally animate this bit with some blend shapes that get added to each other and whatever. I don't know how performant that'll be if there's a bunch of them. But we'll get to that when we get to that. I don't think it's going to be that bad. Unless there's like hundreds of them. So, all that said, I think it is about time that we start making a control rig, which I forgot how to add in the control objects for. Oh, just empties. Just a bunch of empties. That's it. So let's start by adding a circle. Another thing that's annoying to deal with in 3D software is the up direction. Some software has the up direction as, oh, there's not even an issue there. It's just a global local scale. So some software has the up direction as Z, some has it as Y. It's quite annoying. Yeah, so what I think we're gonna do is we're just gonna parent the bottom constraint here. So we can add constraints to each individual bone. So we can set add bone constraint. We need to do that in pose mode. And then we can just add a copy transforms. I think we just have a parent one, right, as well. Am I just looking over it? Maybe it's just copy transform. A relationship, probably. Yeah, child of is what it's called. So we can just say, hey, this is the child of this empty. And now, if we go back into just object mode, actually, we can animate this. We move the entire thing. Like this. But I think we also... I think there is a way to add these as like a special object that can also be in pose mode, maybe. I want to make a control rig. How do I make the empties that I use for controllers? Or maybe those need to be bones that are shown as empties. I think that's the thing, right? Yes, I think that's how you do that. You can just animate them in object mode, I'm pretty sure as well. But let's just, for shits and giggles, because I want to do this right. I think the way they want you to do that is by going back into here, into pose mode. And then... like, let's clear this constraint for a moment. I'm trying to figure this out live, if you couldn't tell. Because I didn't have time to look into this. But I think we can just... oh, edit mode to add new stuff. That makes sense. So we can just kind of copy this over. And then I think in here we can actually disable deform. And maybe we can change what it renders as. Viewport display. Oh, we can actually set different bone colors. That's kind of neat. Huh. Well, maybe we can actually do the thing that I was thinking about earlier today, just as a theme. Doesn't seem like I can, okay. How do you do that again? Or can I just, hold on, now that I'm in, now that I'm in this, can I, no, I cannot add anything aside from just more bones. Shift A just adds more bones. Shift A, mesh, choose shape. Okay, in object mode now. Rename the shape to control circle, control cube, object properties. Change the name of the top box, switch to pose mode. Yeah, but that doesn't work. It's the thing. Before assigning shapes to your control bones, you need to create objects, usually simple meshes, that will act as the control shapes. Assign your shape to a control bone. In pose mode, select the bone you want to assign the shape to. When the bone is selected, go to bone properties. Assign custom shape. Oh. Hold on, can we do that? No, we can't. Just literally hallucinating that, I'm pretty sure. Because this is bone properties, right? Because this is data. I don't think that's it. Maybe it is? Definitely not on a Regify. Or this one. Or this one. Or this one. Custom properties. No. Inverse kinematics. No. Motion paths. That's kind of nice to show though. Custom properties. Yeah, I don't think that's it. I'm just gonna Google this because ChatGPT is bullshitting me. Blender control bones as shapes. If anybody in chat happens to know, please do enlighten me. How to make custom shapes for whatever. That's not what I'm looking for. Yeah, I want to have these custom widgets.
In this
video, I'm just gonna like skim through because I'm gonna do the thing that I hate when people do with my content. It might be in this tab after all. So these are definitely not just bones though. Yeah, they aren't. They are just like straight up custom like geometry. Right? So like first and foremost, we're gonna delete this bone. But then how do I enable those to like I need to create that. So they are just they're not just empties even, they are just geometry. I'm gonna do it with an empty for now, because fuck that. Because I think empty should be good enough, to be honest with you. Not Unreal. Blender make empty object bone controller. Parent the controls to whatever's controlling the head. I assume it's the head bone. Yeah, but the issue is that I can't go into pose mode with this, which I think is going to... Blender show bone as custom objects. Use custom bone shapes. That's exactly what I need. Just show me where and what menu I need to be. Don't give me an entire like fucking backstory for your life. I just need to know what menu to be in and what settings to use. In bone properties, in viewport display. Oh, that's just a custom. Did I just go over that? Oh my god, did I really? Oh, custom shape. It's literally just straight up there. Okay, so in that case, we do it like this. So we just like we pull one bone out of here, and then we clear parent, and then we. Oh, I was looking while in edit mode, but we should look at it. So it's not a deform bone, but we should look at it while in pose mode. That's fucking dumb. That's really dumb. What happens if I remove this? Oh, that remains? Huh. Interesting. Can we set the... Okay, so now if we do that and we go into this, can we still also set the color? Bone color? Oh, we still can. Fantastic. So now, the idea would be that we can set up these different like layers somewhere as well. Somewhere in here, surely. Oh, it's changed to bone collection. So these will be the deform bones, right? And then remove that one from this, and this will be the control bones. I just want to learn to do this the proper way. So we have that now. Fantastic. Which is just like a kind of like a root motion animator. So we can select this, and then with this selected, we can go into bone constraints. We can say, hey, this bone is the child of this other bone, which we will need to give a name actually. So this will be root controller. Okay, and then we can animate this thing through there. Okay, we're getting there. We are, in fact, getting there. I do wonder if this is going to not show that custom shape if I reload the project. I might just need to have like a stack of custom shapes. Just like existing over here somewhere. Let's just close this and then reopen. Yeah. I thought I had Rider open as well behind that. Oh, I still do. Okay. Okay, it actually does maintain that. Maybe it maintains that because it was still in memory. But generally, I'm going to just assume that it still maintains that. And then I guess what we actually... we don't want any of these to really like parent to like literally anything, right? So we just like... Okay, so we go back into edit mode and there we... Okay, so there just shows up as a bone still. And then I guess what we do is we just start putting these everywhere we need them to be. So we duplicate, go up. And I was thinking, instead of doing all of these with forward kinematics, it would maybe be kind of neat if we did this with inverse kinematics in its entirety, because we should very much be able to do that. So for that, I think I want to create an empty, like, let's do a sphere. I'm kind of having fun with setting this stuff up, to be honest. Oh, I already have that. Okay, so body IK, and we'll render this as custom object MTO1. And then we can even set its scale, right? So we can just say, hey, I want this to be like 2.5 across the board. It's maybe a bit much, to be fair. 1.8. Okay. Oh, we can still just be in pose mode, actually. Because we're going to put in a constraint. And I think, I always forget, you put the inverse kinematic on the end of the chain, right? I think so. So we have IK, and then we'll set up a pull target in a moment as well, because we'll probably need to. The target will be the body IK. So far it seems to work. Chain length will be, I think, just 2, or maybe it'll be 3. I think it's inclusive, right? Yes, it's inclusive. So that now gets us IK for the body. Stretch is turned on. Why doesn't it stretch? It should stretch up. Well, I don't know about that. But the default position of this thing should just be a bit higher as is. Like right over there. Clear transforms, yeah. So let's create a pull target to go with that. Body pull targets. Pose mode. It stopped working. Oh, because I didn't set up the pull target. Okay, so this can still fuck up majorly. Yes, it does. Let's clear transform. Yeah, so this needs to be twisted by minus 90 degrees. This also lets me easily rotate the body as a whole, actually. Huh. That's actually kind of neat. Oh yeah, let's fucking make him headbang. Right? Okay, that's the body IK working. Then I think we want to give him a box for his head. Maybe not even a box, really. I don't know what we want to give him. A box is probably good. I think about it. So we copy this over for the head control. And this actually needs to be back here, I think. We'll give this a different shape and color as well. So the color for this is going to be like blue, because I like blue. And then don't do that. And then the shape will make a cube. We'll just stuff over there as well. In pose mode, we can tell this to be empty too. And then the transform for all this will probably just be give it some like only visual translation forward, right? That makes it a little bit more intuitive to work with. Yeah, that'll make it a little bit more intuitive to work with, I think, because the idea is that this is going to be parented to that, and that is going to make it rotate properly around with it, but also like displays in 3D space, which is quite important. So this will be a child of the head controller, which in theory means that if we put this in global space, yeah, you see how this makes a lot of sense with how it moves now, as if this guy has a neck to begin with, or a neck bone, because it doesn't just rotate like this, it's rotating from the controller's pivot point. Yeah, that's quite neat. Is there any way to make these lines thicker? Oh, we probably, in order to do that, we would need to change the shape on the empties, which means that we would need to change the shape. Question. If I just add in a cube, out of sheer curiosity, nothing more, how does it deal with this? Does it take the wireframe, or does it just take the whole ass model? Because I'm thinking it's going to just take the whole ass model. Cube. Yes, it does. But then, the idea would be, of course, that we can just add a wireframe modifier to this. Which will give us a thickness slider for this. Also gets rid of the color? Or is that only in pose mode? Okay, so that actually is quite nice that it does it like that. Huh. Fucking what? Anyway, I'm just kind of messing around at this point. I would like to also be able to like give this thing like a color, like outside of all that, if that's possible. Because this guy is definitely just... No, those are geometry objects that he's working with that I have here, I think. Maybe. Oh, I think that those might be like curve objects that he's drawing out. I'm just going to stick with using empties because that's frankly good enough, I think. So custom object, empty2, yeah. Oh, hell, maybe within this actually we do have some... We have some size stuff, so maybe we can actually Let's ask ChatGPT. Is there a way to set the line thickness of an empty shape in Blender? In the viewport display settings. Oh, viewport display. So yeah, you're just lying to me again. On the size, increase the value to scale this empty up. Yeah, but that's not quite how that works, is it? Because that just scales up the thing as a whole. I want the line thickness to increase. Use a wireframe object instead of an empty. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But it says that we also have like a option that is not just wireframe. So shift A mesh, enable wireframe display, select your mesh object, go to the object properties tab. So that's here. Go to viewport display, and there we can, oh, there we can set it as wireframe view, but it just doesn't fucking do anything. What? But we can see, we can set the color here, which also doesn't seem to be doing a whole lot. Oh, hold on, we set wireframe to true, maybe? Because now it does show the wireframe. Can we then set the control line thickness for... Oh, but that's only for render, so that doesn't actually change anything. Modify viewport settings for better visibility. That's also fine. Edit preferences, theme, 3D viewport. Edit preferences, themes. Let's say viewports. I don't know, man. Doesn't seem like there's any viewport settings. Oh, it's 3D viewport. I'm just an idiot. Does it have a option for thickness anyway? Oh, yeah, edge width, outline width. Is that what we're working with here? Doesn't seem like. Okay, so that's that. So it must be edge width. No. So it just doesn't have a handle for that, does it? Oh, edge width. Oh, I already tried that, didn't I? Yes, I don't think it has a value for that. That's actually kind of weird. With how adjustable Blender is, you would expect that to be a thing. Well, it was mostly out of curiosity anyway. I don't really, like, actually give a shit. So what were we doing that was relevant? Oh yeah, the IK for the arms. That's next, I think. So let's add in some more bones for all that. So we can duplicate this. Move it to right here-ish. What is IK? IK is like the setup we have here, right? So we have like this controller here. And we can give it a position, and then the bones under it will rotate into the rotations that they need to achieve that position. And it also comes along with having like a target that the bend should be pointing at. So that's how we like can set up things where you can like just say, hey, I want to move the hand here, instead of saying, hey, to move the hand from A to B, we're going to need to rotate the arm segment 1 so much and arm segment 2 so much and whatever. So for like positional animation, that is quite nice. Sometimes FK, which is the other thing where you animate the individual like bone rotations, is preferable. But IK, especially for like quicker animation, and if you're a beginner, which technically like maybe I am, it is a lot easier. It's easier to get something decent out of anyway. So let's set this to like 0.5 maybe. 0.7. 0.7 seems good for size. And then we'll set this one to being... Oh, purple seems good for the left side, doesn't it? I like purple. So yeah, we can do that, and then in edit mode, we just take this bone and copy it over. And we'll call this left IK targets. And we'll call this left IK controller. And then we need to re-enable the deform bones real quick, because we're going to take this bone over here, and we might need to actually rotate the IK bone around. We'll see in a moment. It's just one of the constraints that we have here. So inverse kinematics, there we can say, hey, the target will be, so that's going to be the position that we're going to be taking. So that'll be our armature and then our left IK controller. So it now snaps the end of this bone to the start of that controller bone. And then the pole target will be this. And then we can say how long the chain length should be. So in this case, it'll be 1 bone, 2 bones, and 3 bones in total. So now it'll only affect everything up to here. If I set this to like 5, it'll affect everything like up to, I can actually just show you. Maybe not. Oh, I didn't actually supply the all targets. Hold on. Left IK target. So yeah, now it'll affect everything up to like down to this bone. But if I just set this to 3, it'll only affect everything up to the shoulder bone here. It's still a little twisted. Sometimes it happens. And you just need to like change the pull target angle to like either 90 or minus 90 usually. And that's pretty good. And now we can just move the arm like this and not worry too much about like anything else. We might still need to like change some things, but that's also quite nice because we can just we might actually want to like parent this thing to that as well. We'll see. But even if we just like move this around, right, it'll only change the angle between these two things because it's still like forcing this to be its final end position. All that said, though, I do think I actually quite like the idea of adding a child of constraints to the IK controller here as well, because that should allow me to also use this as no. Oh. Body IK. So now, yeah, now it also allows me to use that body IK to rotate the upper body. Which it might be nice. Can I just set this to be child of and then influence at 50%? I can. So I can say child of armature and then body IK. So now it rotates this top bone by 100% and then that bottom bone by 50% to match with that. So it's quite nice that way. And yeah, so IK, the neat thing is that we're using this for animation now. But if you set up something like this within your game engine itself, you can also very much do this in real time. So you can just say, hey, the hand needs to be at this position. And then the bone will just, like the bones will just rotate themselves to have the hand in that position. So if you have a character that needs to dynamically like reach out for something, like an item, you can very much do that. And then you can dynamically blend that IK in as well. So yeah, all that. That said though, I think yeah, okay, so maybe hold on, maybe we need to do a little bit more other parenting stuff, because I think this one needs to be parented to that as well, with a keep offset. So now if I move this, so now if I impose mode, just like clear all transforms real quick. No, not clear and keep transform. Are you insane? Just transform. Clear transform all. There we go. So the idea would be that this now also moves the head. Should only copy the rotation, not the position. Because if I move this up, that needs to. Okay. We can do that. So we set up a constraint for that instead. So we clear parent. Pose mode. This copies the rotation, I think, right? So we copy rotation of this. And then the bone will be the body IK. And then if we move this, oh no, it doesn't follow. And if we rotate it, it copies it, but it doesn't actually like properly move with it, I don't think, right? Yeah, no, it doesn't. Which is not a huge issue, but it's gonna annoy me. So we're gonna, I think we can child of and then just, yeah, not do the location, only child of rotation and I guess scale as well. So we, again, body IK. It's actually not what I want, I don't think. I just need this to... Maybe it's position and not rotation? Oh, no, it's definitely... Oh, no. How the hell did that... no, that is cursed as fuck. It's kind of nice that it has a maintained volume constraint, actually, because that means that if I... Yeah, that means that it just has a built-in, like, squash and stretch. Which is nice for, like, cartoony animation. Speaking of which, I was looking into why this doesn't stretch up. My IK constraint doesn't stretch my character when I go beyond its limits. Select a bone with the IK constraint, pose mode, open a bone. In the IK constraint, you'll see an option called stretch or allow stretch. Enable stretch, yeah, but that is already enabled. So do I need to change anything about the bones themselves? Do the bones need to allow stretch as well? I don't think so. I don't think we necessarily like need to have all that happen, but yeah. That's also kind of neat. Let's set up a copy scale as well. I don't think I need to... Well, actually, yeah, I need to just parent this thing altogether, don't I? Maybe not in position, though. That might cause some issues. Right? No, it doesn't. And this allows me to just like rotate this properly. And scale, which is quite nice. Because I definitely want to like scale up some of these bones for some of the attack animations, is what I'm thinking. Like make like very big meaty claws to like have very big hits, right? That's what I'm thinking at the moment. The only thing that I'm still thinking about is how the fuck am I going to set this up? I think I do need to just set up as a child of the body IK. And then like clear its position parenting. Oh no, but it also needs to have a position parenting, doesn't it? Because if I move this thing down, it needs to move with it. So that actually like fully does make sense. So then this needs to not take that into account maybe, and only... Huh. Only take the rotation is what I was gonna say, and that kind of works until it doesn't. We'll figure this out. You know what I think we need to do? I think we need to not set this up as a constraint. I think we need to set this up as a like proper parenting thing. So we need to parent this not to this, but we need to parent this to this. I think that's what we need to do. So we parent this as keep offset. I think that's what we do, right? Yeah, so that's definitely what we do. That does, however, mean that when I move the head, when I move the body, the head is now also part of that IK chain. Because it's literally like sticking out like this. So yeah, no, actually this fully works now, because if we remove all that and we just say child of in... What I need to do at this point is have this thing like copy rotation, I guess. But only locally. Oh, but we can do that, like target to own. Yeah, okay, so we can do that. To the head controller. So if I move this around, that does what I need to do. And then this does also what it needs to do. Fantastic. So I didn't even need to set up the whole local space thing. Great, cool. That means that most of the controls we actually have set up now, I think. We might need to, at some point, set up FK controls for the arm itself as well. And we need to set up finger controls. But what I'm thinking is that we can just like select these two and symmetrize those. Maybe. Let's see. Maybe we can't do that with anything selected. Oh, we can't do that in here. We need to... Yeah, so then we still need to set up all the constraints menu. Oh, that's fine. But if we go into edit mode, we can symmetrize, right? Oh, we need to have everything selected, I think. So let's just select these two. I think we can symmetrize these. There we go. And then we'll do the same thing with the hand in a moment. But we need to... I don't think they're going to have the proper... Maybe they do. Yeah, they're not... they don't have anything set up. Can we symmetrize constraints? Blender symmetry constraints. Is there a mirroring tool? You can use copy constraints. You select an object, add a copy constraint, then select which other object you want to property from. Yeah, that's definitely like not what this person is asking about, I don't think. Yeah, and then you run a Python script. We're not going to be running any Python script. What do you think? We are programmers? Hell no. But I do think you can like just like copy. Maybe not. I thought you could. I thought you could do it like an active to selected kind of thing, but probably easier to just set up the IK constraints again because it's real quick. And then we also have like a parent constraint for this one, right? Yeah. So IK bone will be hand. What is it called? Right IK controller, of course. Right IK controller. Ball target will be right IK targets. Chain length will be 3. This will be minus 90. And there we go. Oh, and then we need to also set up the child off. Which is just... I wish that you could also like pick the bones with like a picker thing like that. It's a small little thing, but it would be nice. So that allows me to, in theory, no. Why not? Oh, it's... No, that should be the right IK target. This is the right IK. Oh, it's the right IK. Fucking hell. My brain is shutting off. There we go. So now, yeah, that works. Cool. Fingers. Time to do the fingers. These are actually remarkably easy to set up for the most part. You can give all of these their own individual controllers, where you can set up the fingers to like bend one segment at a time. I think that's a little overkill. So the way I like to do this is just give these like one little bone. So I need to actually like duplicate some bones. My 6-year-old is trying to learn Unreal right now. That's mad respect for your 6-year-old. I tried to learn programming when I was like 12, 13. And it took me a while to give up. Then I went to study film and then I came back and then I actually learned programming. But, yeah. No, if your 6-year-old is like picking it up fairly well, and I know that's probably like comparatively for like their age, right? But still, mad respect. That's real cool. So yeah, we just kind of, let's see, bone. And then we go into pose mode. Because why fuck would this work properly? He's figured out health variables, progress bar, as looting damage. That is, like, again, like, actually mad respect for being able to do that. Because that's not easy to figure out. Just goes to show you, I guess, how good the internet is these days. Being able to, like, get help with that stuff. That's definitely the wrong empty. That's it. Yeah, so let's size this down a fair bit to like 0.5. I think 0.5 for all three of these. Might still be a little much, to be honest. Like, we could probably go like 0.2. Uh, 0.25. Does this matter? No. It's going to annoy me otherwise, and I'm going to spend quite a long time looking at this rig, presumably. So, honestly shocked. Tried to start out in GameMaker, but he gave up. Yeah, I think the funny thing is I started in GameMaker as well when I was young. And GameMaker is really good because it also has like its own visual scripting thing. Like far before Unreal had any like decent implementation of it, if I'm correct. But for some reason the like visual flow of Blueprint makes it so much easier to digest than GameMaker's like logic stack. Because you can literally like follow the noodly mess of like what happens when your execution flow. At least that's why I think it works fairly well. I think Blueprint is legitimately more user-friendly than GameMaker's stuff. That said, GameMaker itself has a more limited scope, so it's less intimidating to get into than an engine like friggin' Unreal Engine. Because Unreal is a big engine. I constantly discover stuff. Anyway, so we like copy the rotation for this first one. So we probably should give that a name, eh? This is pinky for the left. So this is, let's call this pink.l.control. And we're just going to give this one controller. And I could do something like I do in Unreal for fingers, making it like a slider that slides back and forth between two positions. But that would then require me to translate a range of like local transform, like translate into rotation, which is just takes a bit of math, and I don't want to do that. And this also works fairly well. So yeah, we copy the like ping, not link, left pinky control. So that allows us to exactly do this. And then these two are both going to get a constraint for copy rotation as well. And they're just going to copy the rotation, the local rotation of the main pinky. So this is going to, again, I wish if you just picked a bone, that would give you that bone, but sure. And then in local space and local space. So that should now, that might be a weight painting issue. I think that's a weight painting issue, actually. Yeah, we'll look into that in a moment, because this really... come on, we can... Surely we can copy... Blender, copy bone constraints. There's a copy attributes thing. Well, I don't care for that right now. We'll just copy rotation from this, and then pinky L, local space, local space. So now we have one controller that controls the rotation for like all three of these. And then we can also give this thing a constraint to limit its rotation. Limit rotation. So that would be in its own local space. Like now we can't rotate this at all. We probably want to limit it to that. So now we can that's kind of weird. Why doesn't it do that? Oh, because it's set to -90. Okay, then the minimum is -90 and the maximum is 0. That's fine. Okay, so now we can only make it bend in so far, right? Okay, with all that said though, something is clearly actually super fucked about the weights on this hand as well. I thought all our weight issues had been resolved, but clearly not. Let's see, this is the pinky. Oh, it's to do with your hand, I think, yeah. Which hand was that? Where did I put my... Oh god, where did I put... That's not good. Where did I put my stylus? Oh, fuck. Oh, there it is. I found it. Good. Yeah, for some reason this thing got like entirely messed up somehow. And the object mode. Okay, so this is a little annoying. But if we pose mode this into... I guess what we can do is we can just turn off the constraints here for a moment, right? So if you just turn off like these two constraints, you'll go back to like normal T-pose. And it won't bother me while I'm weight painting. At least that's the idea. Let's see if it actually works out that way. Yeah, that seems to work fairly... Oh god, what the hell kind of bullshit is happening here? What the hell kind of bullshit is happening here? I don't know. There might be a little bit of gradient there, but those vertices seem to be mapped to something else entirely. Okay, and then we just kind of... Oh, I set the line thickness to be like super fucking high. So this looks really weird for me right now. Let's make sure to remove all of these vertices from that. And then we weight paint again. Okay, so This is all pretty much cleaned up, but now we have an issue with some of these hand vertices being parented to like fucking something. Let's see. Okay, that is out to the right hand, of course. But that's easy to just fucking remove. Okay. We might get into some more of that weird stuff because that seemed to sneak into everything somehow. Let's put these constraints back on and then look back at... Okay, now I'm actually going to put my stylus in the little loop that my tablet has for it so that I don't lose it again. Going back to this little controller here, the idea was that we have like one controller that there's still a little bit of fuckiness around it, to be fair. But it's also a little too far rotated, so maybe we should just like limit it to about like 60, maybe 70 degrees. And then I think that's actually pretty good. We're never going to have close-ups of this stuff, right? So it's probably fine. Now we just need to do that for all the other fingers. He says, as if it's that easy. Well, it kind of is. Let's give it a color as well. Viewport display. Colors, I think I gave him purple, right? Yeah, we're doing purple for this hand. So we just, yeah, we kind of just do that 5 times for each hand. I'll roughly line them up as well, just in case it matters. I'm going to copy over all the bones first now. And then I will maybe look into that copy attribute add-on that exists. Because that seems like it's going to save me a bit of trouble with lining all this stuff up. I like copying over everything properly. We'll do the thumb last. Because it's easier to just copy over that thing. Pose mode again. Select the bone you want to copy the constraint to, then select a bone with the constraint. That is the way is the active bone. And there's actually a way to do this. Copy from. Then press space, copy constraints to selected bones. Let's see. He means I have 3. Copy constraints to selected bones. And then we just need to change the... Okay, hold on. Let's change the names of these first. So we have... that would be... ring control... middle control. If anybody's thinking, hey, this is boring as fuck, I want to point out, you guys are the people who voted for this on Discord. Sooner or later, we needed to have done this anyway. Don't get me wrong. I just like to blame somebody that's not me. So this will copy the ring control. This will copy the middle control. This will... Oh, there's limit rotation. Oh, it already has limited rotation because I copied those over, right? That's actually kind of cool. And this will be index control. And then I actually... Oh no, those do pretty much line up then. Okay, cool. And then I guess we just select all these and then we copy those, but they all need to have their own. So that would be ring 1. This will be middle 1. I guess this one could copy from middle 2 as well, actually, but it doesn't matter that much. Middle 1. This will be index 1, and this will also be index 1. And then these will all... Oh, hold on. Need to be in a local space for these. Perfect. Cool. Yeah, so that's one of the fingers done. Or one of the hands, aside from the thumb, but the thumb is just kind of more of the same. It's just easier for the thumb to be done this way by just like copying. Just scale this up a little bit. And then going into pose mode. First, make it purple. Second, make it copy the circle. And then we can just copy the scale from this. The rotation should be about 90 in the X. And then the translation will be a little... Ooh. Oh, that's just the wrong direction. Okay. I was going to say that's a little scuffed, but that's fine. Okay. Yeah, and then we just kind of do the same thing again. So we just copy constraint and no, copy constraint, and this just then needs to refer to thumb L. What did I call these ones actually? Stay consistent. Index and L control. So thumb L control makes sense. Dot control. And then this needs to copy the constraint from this. But that should be fine because it just... okay, so some of the weights around that also are a little messed up. This also should rotate like in a little bit. So it should take its Z rotation and also apply it to its X rotation, I think. So I think we can just do that by using transformation on itself. And then rotation to rotation. And then for the X, the source axis will be Z. So now, okay, that does not like at all work. Oh, I think the minimum here should be like minus 90. No. Replace. No. Add. Probably should be local space anyway. Oh, and I don't have a bone select. Okay, that might be part of the issue. Yeah, then this should probably be like minus 60 or something. We can do a little bit of math to improve that, potentially, if we need to. but I don't think we need to. Oh, now it just fucking snaps into... No, it doesn't. Never mind. But it kind of does. It doesn't even do what I want it to do. Of course it doesn't. Wait, but... Oh, you can't do that within the same bone, eh? In that case... I guess we need to do it from this. So we copy the rotation as a whole. And then we copy the rotation again. No, we don't copy the rotation again. Then we do a transformation from local space to local space, from rotation to rotation. And it takes the x from the z, and it does up like -60, and then it should fucking do a thing. But it doesn't. It's because it's still fucked. Yeah, so maybe this doesn't copy rotation. Maybe what this needs to do instead is just take like the z rotation from the z rotation, and then it should be like -70 to 0 or whatever. Oh, and it needs to have a target. That I keep forgetting that I need to give it a target, man. Okay. That seems kind of promising. Except it doesn't. Okay, so the minimum should be up -60 for this as well, about minus... actually, maybe this can be like -90 or something. We just need to play around a little bit with it. Something like that, and then this, something like that. I'll maybe even rotate that a little bit. I mean, it's something. It's not what I want it to be, but it's fucking something. Do we change these around? That might be what we do. No, because that just overrides it. Yeah, I don't quite know how this works. I'm going to be real with you. I thought I did at least have an idea. Clearly I don't. Oh, hold on. This Z should be -90 or -70 or whatever as its max. So now... Yeah, so now it will rotate like inward as well as everything else. So we drive this entire thing by just one axis, but it's actually moving over 3 axes. Because if we disable this copy transform, it only does that, right? So it's like actually a bit more intelligent about it now. All that said, though, this definitely should not be doing more than this. But that much we can put into here. So we can just figure out, hey, when does it start moving back? Yeah, so about -40 is about the max of what we should be doing there. And technically we also need to do the other hand, but I might do the other hand off stream over the weekend. Because you've seen the entire process now, and it's mind-numbing. So we'll probably next week we'll be doing texturing before I actually start doing the animation part of everything. Because after you have set this up, it'll probably be nice to do something else before diving back in to the whole like animation thing. Before any of that though, let's go weight paint and fix up some of these weights, because holy hell. It's mostly like the thumb here, right? Yeah, so let's... Ooh, that might be kind of tricky. That might be kind of tricky to do because of how all that works. Hold on a moment. We'll get this worked out. Object mode. We just need to... Not object mode, actually. Pose mode. Just need to disable these constraints real quick, so that it can go back into normal T-pose. Then object mode. Then select a mesh. Then weight paint. And then we can go into the left thumb and maybe fix some of its more messed up parts. It's also just like generally kind of fucked. Maybe we should just clear all transform real quick. I need to remember. Oh, it doesn't even have a hotkey assigned. That's why I don't know it, because it doesn't have one. Yeah, so this will allow me probably to... Ooh, that's probably why. This will allow me to... What the fuck? Why is it so fucking strong? It's really a strong brush. No, it's not. But up there it is. Like when I go here, it is a super strong thing. I don't know why that could be. That's kind of weird. Why does it do that? Is there something weird going on with any other area around here, maybe? We have the entire left hand, which definitely like goes in way too far here. I don't think that'll be the issue. At least I doubt it. Maybe it is. I think it's probably something to do with the right side again. Wouldn't you know it? Remove. I mean, that doesn't actually seem to fix it. Not fully, anyway. Oh, right thumb also does it. Remove. That's also removed from this. Okay, that seems to fix stuff a little bit more. But we need to stay in weight paint mode because we were going to do a thing to... Yeah. Why does it still fucking do that though? The moment I change anything, like literally the smallest thing about this, it loses its mind. I also should put a save. Like it just goes mental. Oh, I have I have symmetry on. That's why. When did I put? Oh, yeah, that's probably a decent explanation, eh? Let's just blur this out a little and put the strength for this up to something a little higher. As I said half an hour ago, my brain is starting to shut off. I've had a long ass week, man. Like, it's Thursday and I'm way beyond the 40-hour work week already. It's kind of starting to break my brain a little. I'll just average all of this stuff out altogether. Okay, and then we can look at the thumb. One of these thumbs actually looks like pretty decent. We can blur it a little bit. That altogether shouldn't be doing weird stuff, I don't think. But maybe now we have everything fixed up. Let's just go into pose mode and see what this does when I try to rotate it. Yeah, that works smoothly now. I feel like it should rotate in a little bit more still. So we can probably... we need to like do a math expression for that, though. I don't think we need to have a copy rotation anymore. Oh, we do. So I guess what we could technically do is, and this is a bad idea, but it'll work for now, is put in another transformation and just say, hey, take the thumb controller again. And for this one, we simply map from rotation to rotation. And this is also how you can map from local or global even location to rotation. So we can have like a slider that would do all this instead of doing it by rotation, which would be kind of neat. But like this can add a maximum of like 30-degree extras of rotation. So that means that it rotates in. Oh no, it just means that it stops earlier. Okay. That is fair. Oh, it's not even that axis actually that is fucking me up. I think it might be. I think it's the x-axis. That's a combination of both. That's maybe a bit much. But if we're going to be doing that, I think we can just fine-tune these, right? Yeah, that's pretty good. Alrighty, so most of the rig now has been constructed. We only need to do the other left hand, and then of course we need to like create a couple of blend shapes for this stuff down here. But that's not even going to be properly animated, at least not in Blender. That's going to be procedurally like blended between. So that'll be fine. Oh man, I'm tired. So yeah, next Tuesday we'll be back probably doing some Substance Painter stuff because I'm really looking forward to getting this guy painted up. So we'll assign some materials to him. I think I'm just gonna go with I think I'm gonna go with 3 materials for him altogether. I think his entire body is gonna be 1 material. Depending on, like, actually, let's take a look at his UVs, because I think his UVs are pretty... They actually have a lot of space left open. That's interesting. Where are these eyeballs? Yeah, so these eyeballs can probably... Doesn't really matter. They don't take up that much space, actually. But we have, like, a lot of empty space. So what I'm thinking is maybe... Not over here anyway. Maybe what we can do is... like, split this guy, like, clean down the middle. Like that. And then unwrap again real quick. Does that use the UV space a little bit more efficiently? Because there's a lot of white space here. Oh, it definitely does not. At which point, I guess the next thing to look at would be... doing an extra loop like this. I just want to create a, like, unwrap that actually uses the UV space as much as possible, so that I can maybe get away with a slightly lower resolution texture for the entire body, instead of having to split it up over either multiple materials or putting it into a higher res texture, which I would prefer not to have to do. That's good enough. So even if I'm creating more seams, we're going to be projecting most materials anyway, I think. So, or most textures, rather. And these gigantic... It's not really improving anything, is it? But those like giant islands really eat up like a lot of efficiency and like waste pixels, essentially. So, like, what is this? Specifically, like this island. It's those two islands. Those are the big ones. I guess we can split those in this direction as well. Still, that's not actually a bad seam. And then we can split them like this too. I mean, they're not the most consistent seams. Probably not very symmetrical either, because I honestly, like, at this point just do not give a shit. It's probably going to be fine anyway. But they're not bad seams either. Okay, that one is pretty bad. At some point, these islands are going to get small enough to the point where, yeah, they start filling out more of the actual UV space. So even though we're creating more seams, we're actually getting more resolution out of it now. So I guess we can check. That area is pretty big still. We have like a lot of stuff down here, like the fingers and such. Don't have a lot of space, but I guess what we could do is we actually could take all of this, and we don't need the eyeball in there, so we can just fucking take the eyeball. Get the faces only. Put that to the side. These are likely the teeth, if I had to guess, right? Yep. No, those are actually also fingers. Okay. Oh, these are the teeth, probably. Yeah, so the teeth I also don't much care about, but they probably could do with a little bit more resolution than they have right now. So we take all the UV stuff from over here. And since there's a bunch of room up here where we can put them, as well as like these fingers, obviously, we will be able to scale them up a little bit and give them just a tiny bit more resolution. And we'll move some UV islands around, like manually, to assign resolution where they're most needed. Because of course those fingers are going to be, in some animations, scaling up. And if they're going to be scaling up, it'll be nice for them to have slightly more resolution than they do now. So we can just give them a little extra space. And then again, I think these are the eyeballs probably. Yeah. So these can actually, I think this will also be the eyeball. Yeah, these can just be like a bunch smaller because we're not actually gonna like do pretty much anything with them. And that gets us these two as well. Which we can just add to this whole. I don't know when this turned into a UV stream, but it is now. But we can probably just like put these entirely up here, to be honest. And we just need to relocate this area, which we can put a little bit more down here. And if we take this thing, we can move it down a little bit because we created some space around here. Don't even know what the hell this is supposed to be. That's the inside of the nose. Sure. What are these actually? These are like body parts. Okay. And these are the teeth. Well, I guess it doesn't hurt to. I guess I could put the teeth like all the way down here or something. I can put this down there. Then we can put the teeth, maybe like move them. I'm getting distracted from ending the stream. This is a first. Oh, it's definitely not a first actually. But we can put the teeth down here. Which are these also teeth actually? I think these are also teeth. Yeah, these are also teeth. We don't need those up here. Also fit down there. Which I think this is also a finger, so we definitely want that to be up here with the rest. We're just kind of looking for all the fingers at this point. What even are these areas? It's the inside of the teeth. If I didn't care about the teeth, I don't think I need to tell you that the inside of the teeth I care even less about. But yeah, so the fingers are getting a fair bit more resolution this way, which is nice. This might not be entirely within the bounds of the UV space. Now it is. All right. So that was a fun little quick side quest, I suppose. I guess I have all the fingers now, and we are using the UV space at least a little bit more efficiently now. That's overlapping, it shouldn't be. The automatic UV packer is pretty good, but nothing beats just actually having the inside. Oh, that's the underside of the face. I don't know if we need resolution there. Is there anything else that definitely like needs resolution? I guess the hands as well, like the hands as a whole. But that's like quite a few islands, and I don't know that I can really get enough resolution out of all that to get that working. Like I can move this over a little bit. And then, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to optimize to that degree. Maybe. We don't want to shrink down all this too much either, though. And we want to have a little bit of distance between them as well, just because sometimes like UV stuff bleeds over. Oh yeah, those UV seams, I did those last stream. Those are like manually cut, yeah. I was just showing that next stream we're going to be doing texturing, so like all that stuff needs to happen, and then I got distracted and now I'm actually like updating the UVs. I'm trying to pack them in efficiently so that I have as much of the resolution used as possible. Because I want the hands to have a little bit more resolution, because those are going to be scaled up. And the automatic packer doesn't know that. So I guess this is also... Like, I'm creating some space here, but I don't know if that's going to be space that I can actually use. Because like, where are the hands? Like this, not that one. Maybe the hands just need to be their own material so that they can have their entire own, like, slightly lower resolution UV space. Wait, hold on. Do they share UV space? Oh no, it's just like the entire hand. I thought that was... Oh, I only have one seam on those. Okay, that actually does make it a little bit easier. Let's see about all that. Ooh, it's a tight fit. It's a tight fit, but we're gonna get there. Maybe not. Maybe we're not gonna get there. You know what? This and this, we're just going to scale both of those down a little bit. It doesn't really matter that much. It's a bit of a puzzle though at times. I don't really want to scale that down, to be honest, though. But we can create up. We can free up a little bit of space, like by rotating these in a clever way, maybe. If we rotate these, just but then it's going to be overlapping with that. If I hold on, if I rotate this like right into, oh no, there's actually some overlapping stuff there. I can move this out of the way slightly so it stops overlapping. It's gonna be slightly like tight fit there, but it's probably fine. These two hands also need to like not be on top of each other as much. Together with all this can move a little in that direction. I think we have fixed most of the overlaps. I don't know that I'm necessarily more efficient now, because there's, again, a lot of white space, which is obviously something you usually want to avoid as much as you can. This stuff is not even going to like hold much pixel data anyway, so just like stuffing them into a corner is fine. And then this can move slightly more that direction. And then we can maybe even rotate these a little like that. It's not going to be particularly consistent in its UV scale across the board now. But I think... I don't know. I think at this point I'm trying to optimize out of a matter of principle and actually like losing quite a lot of resolution as a result. So maybe I should not be doing that. Well, actually this one fits in quite nicely here. There's a huge gap that we can, maybe actually, does this fit in there without too much trouble? If we scale it down a little bit, it would, but then what do we do with open space there, right? Maybe this fits in there, the other side of the mouth. I think that's too tight. I think this is a pretty good unwrap, to be honest. It's more efficient than the auto packer, and we have more resolution in the hands now, right? You can see the hands have like smaller tiling. So we have a little bit more resolution there. So we have the room to like effectively scale up to about this size without losing too much sharpness compared to the rest of the body. And this is about as big as it's gonna get, so it's probably fine. Yeah, so that said, now we're actually gonna end the stream now that we have that in place. Next time we're gonna take this and put it into Substance and probably spend a whole lot of time just messing about and trying to like paint things. And it's been a while since I've used Substance, so it's probably gonna be a mess. But yeah, so the entire body is going to be one material. I think we can get away with that. And then the eyes are going to be their own material. And then this puddle is going to be its own material as well. Because I don't know what I'm going to do with the puddle yet. But I'm surely going to do something. So, thanks everybody for hanging out. It's been a good one. I'll be back next week on Tuesday. Same time as usual. And you guys all have a fantastic weekend and good luck with whatever you're working on. Bye-bye.